Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Greenly Review. So, if you all haven't heard any of the announcements that I've made on TikTok or anywhere else, actually, I don't think I've made any more announcements anywhere else except for TikTok. Today we will be talking about Jack Snyder's, or is it Zack? I keep messing that up. Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was recently released about I don't know, 3 months ago, and personally, I have to say is better than the last one, and I'm pretty sure like half the world agrees with me on that one. Um, so if you don't know how these podcasts go, basically what I do is I go through scene by scene, or not all scene by scene, but scenes that I found interesting that I really liked, or scenes that I have questions about, and discuss it in a sense, and ask questions about things that could happen in future movies, things that reference to other movies within the universe itself, and so on and so forth, if that makes sense. So, uh, now some of the questions that I have, since I'm not doing it with a co-host this time, I'll probably rely on you guys in the comment section to answer some of the questions. If you all are, very familiar with DC or whatnot, then, it just helps my case and it makes things a hell of a lot easier, trust me. But yeah, before we begin, I have the movie up right here. I'm not going to show it mainly because I don't want to get copyrighted. I don't know how people on YouTube or Twitch are able to show movies and not get fined for it. Honestly, one of the biggest questions I'll ever have. But yeah, no, here, I'm going to show you guys. I'm pretty sure I showed this before. It's a good thing this isn't just an audio-based podcast. You guys would not be able to see. This right here is 2 pages worth of things I want to talk about. Among this as well, and this. A total of 6 pages in total. Yeah, no, we're going to be here a while. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. We're going to be here a while. Okay. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to discuss, and I know I already touched on this a little bit beforehand whenever I was introducing everything. Generally, this movie was by far better than the last one in a lot of senses, actually. In terms of storyline, in terms of acting, in terms of like CGI and everything, it was just all around way better. Okay, way better, and I loved it for it. They changed a lot of like small details to the movie in this one that they did in the last one. And it's like if you didn't know it, you wouldn't see it. But with me being the person that I am, I literally wrote down all the times of every single thing that happened throughout the movie, so of course I noticed it. But yeah, no, the small details are what make it worthwhile to watch. Okay, so we will get started. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Sorry I didn't get to that beforehand. Thank you all for being here. And remember, guys, if I have questions and you have answers, please don't hesitate to put the answers in the comment section, okay? Alright, so first things first. At the beginning of the movie, we noticed that the reason the mother boxes were activated was because of Superman screams. And I have a lot of questions regarding that. Because in the last movie, they never really showed that. They kind of just went right into it saying like, oh, yeah, well, here are the mother boxes. They're open. They're active. Not going to really explain how, but here we go. Although maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I haven't watched the old one in quite some time. But another thing I have is what resonates with Superman that activates said mother boxes? How does any of that make sense? And plus, if the scream is that loud and it's able to be heard across the world, no one on Earth should have their ears intact. They should all be bleeding, okay? Their eardrums popped, gone, okay? If we're being literal about things, if it's that strong of a yell that's able to activate a mother box, and I'll get into this later, but I'm just going to touch on it as of right now. Something made from, like, aliens, that's made from, like, a matter that no one knows about. How does that work? What makes him so special, you know? What makes him so special? That's my question. Alright, so there's that. I had a question regarding that. I don't fully understand it, in a sense. But I'm glad how they let it in from last movie, like, immediately afterwards. They just, hopped right into the movie and said, hey, here's this. So there's that. I'm noticing my Wi-Fi now all of a sudden isn't wanting to work. I'm thinking I want to plug in my Ethernet cable. Do I want to do that? I don't know if I want to. I feel like that would probably be the best. Is it lagging for you guys? Let me know. I need to know. I want to get on with this movie. I've got a whole 6 pages of things I want to talk about. I'm already 10 minutes in. Will you be reading chat? Yes, I will. If I have questions, or if I've asked a question about the movie itself, and you have answers for it, then just, you know, let me know. I feel like if I plug in my Ethernet cable, things are gonna go haywire. So that sucks. What else? What else did I have? Oh yeah. Also, one thing that I'm gonna mark these down as I go so I don't get lost. As towards the beginning of the movie, we noticed that even in the this one and the old one, it may be a podcast, but I'm doing it in my own way. You know, I mean, if I have questions, because since I don't have a co-host, and I've stated this, I don't have a co-host. I'm just, you know, doing my own thing. So in the old movie, we see that Bruce ends up going to, I believe, Iceland. Yeah, and they like completely bypasses the fact of how like the journey he took to get there and like what happened. It went from point A to point B. It didn't really like show the journey in between. So the fact that they actually did that, like at the beginning of the movie, says a lot, because then it shows like, you know, the trek it took, how determined he was in order to get the team together to get the promise. They'll keep the promise to Superman that he made. I think it was like a year ago or something. So yeah, but that scene, that cinematic, was absolutely amazing. I loved seeing that. The cinematography for that scene was perfect, and I think it speaks more volume than people let on. What else? If I can't read my own writing, I'm apologize. My brain works faster than my hand does when it comes to this kind of stuff. So just excuse me. I apologize. The Aquaman scene that happened at the beginning is basically kind of the same thing. Nothing really changed in a sense. There was just more dialogue that was added, which actually did help with the story a lot. Like I said, the small things. The small things are what count. Laggy. Gosh dang it. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Let me go plug in my Ethernet cable. I'll be right back. All right, so we should be fine. I don't know. If it happens, it happens. So what? I don't care. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, it's whatever. If it goes out, it goes out. Whatever. We just won't do it. Anyways, so there's also a part. They added this in the old movie too. I'll keep referencing back to the old movie a lot because without the old movie, we wouldn't have this movie, so to speak. But they really did touch on whenever Lois was in the city, so to speak. They really touched base on, you know, like life after Superman, how things were working, and like I think the way that the scene was structured, like the color, the saturation, how it was like gray, really spoke to like how people felt in general um about the movie itself after Superman's departure, so to speak, if you want to call it that. And I thought that was very good because it's very smart on Zack Snyder's part to add those kinds of saturations to the movie itself or the scenes to express the deeper meaning behind said scenes, which again, I don't see a lot of people. That didn't happen a lot in the last movie. I felt a bit too vibrant in a sense. It's supposed to be like sorrow and whatnot, but it's not. So that's the weird thing. And the scene with the Amazons, okay, like when the first mother box is in the process of being taken by Steppenwolf, and I'll get into Steppenwolf real soon. I understand the Wonder Woman meme now. I get that. It was hilarious. Like the fact that she does absolutely nothing, and then it's like she just stands still, and you have like the music or her music just show up. It's like, why? She's just standing there. There's no need for that music. So I found that to be very funny at first, but then it started getting annoying as the movie went on, because it's like, dude, can you not? Like, they actually ruined some moments throughout the movie with that music, and it's like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't. But again, I'll get into that later on. What does this say? I hate the fact that I can't read my own writing. Okay, hold on. If I can't read it, I won't worry about it. That's the thing. I won't worry about it. Oh yeah, the part. Oh, that's it. That's right. So the bank scene, where the small low key terrorist, as they call him, whenever Wonder Woman went to go save him, same scene as the old movie, just with a few more added scenes, like little scenes and dialogue. That's kind of, I liked seeing how they added more to it in this cut than they did the last one. But my question is, if Wonder Woman, whenever she came in to block the bullets, why couldn't the dude shooting the gun just like fake her out? Like, just turn the gun a little bit more to like to left whenever she's shooting like an automatic across like the people. She's just blocking it with her arms. Why couldn't he just like go back? I mean, like, it's not like she'd expect it. So I don't know. I found that to be very, very weird. I know it's like I'm thinking of it at a logistical sense, and I just, I don't know. It's just something I noticed, and I thought it like I said, small things. I found that to be super funny. And then the little girl, she says, "Can I be like you one day?" It's like, not really, but I mean, in a sense, yes. Yeah, you don't have super strength or anything like that, but sure, whatever. That was actually my next point on my list, and I didn't even realize it was there. Oh yeah, and the Amazon scene, whenever they're on their private island, so to speak. Whenever the mother box is being activated and Steppenwolf is about to, I guess, arrive, how do the Amazons even know that danger is imminent? How do they even know that there's a thing about to occur? They haven't seen that, because I remember they said, like, it's been, God knows, thousands upon thousands of years since the last, like, the invasion of Darkseid and whatnot. And it's like, how do you know that? How? I mean, how long do Amazons live for? No, no, the notes will be absolutely insane. They're going to be very long. Like, how do the Amazons really know that danger is imminent? Just because the mother box is moving doesn't necessarily mean that danger is going to happen. I mean, Superman literally just yelled and it activated it. How does that in turn cause danger? You know, like, I don't understand that. That didn't make very much sense to me, and I couldn't logic my way out of that scene, because it just didn't make sense in any capacity. So that's that. Oh, also, design-wise, Steppenwolf looked absolutely amazing. They did so much justice, get it, Justice League, to Steppenwolf in this movie than they did the last one. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like the advanced technology that they tried to show off in the scene, or the movie, based off of, like, you know, the difference between human technology and the outer world technology. I don't know. Steppenwolf just looked absolutely amazing. The moving armor and everything, it really just, I guess it just elaborated his character more. It made him more evil, you know? And plus, he had more character development in this movie than he did the last one. And I feel like that's a good idea. You shouldn't just give character development to the heroes and no character development to the villains. Because then it's like, well, what's the villain fighting for? Why is he even here? Because they didn't mention that in the last one. It was just like, oh, Steppenwolf's here just cuz? Awesome. Don't really know why, but he's here. So that's another thing that I really liked in this cut. Sometimes it's better to have more scenes than less scenes, because it tells more of a story, and I loved it. Let's see here. I have no idea what I said for that one, so I'm gonna cross that one out. I literally don't know. Oh yeah, and the part wherever they're like, whenever Steppenwolf arrives, when he arrives and they have to take the mother box out, right? Why did it take the Amazons so long to realize, hey, they're attacking us? It was what was it supposed to take? A few of your sisters being killed to realize, oh hey, I should probably start fighting now. Is that what it takes? Like, come on now. You should know immediately after you see the big giant evil dude show up in your territory. It's like, yeah, I should probably fight now. Not whenever half of you get slaughtered, and then it's like, oh, now I need to fight. That makes sense. What? But the part where the I don't remember her name, the leader female, the leader of the Amazons, her, whenever she was escaping, right? Or right before she's about to, what was the point of scaling the wall, so to speak? Like, she could have literally just run out, but instead she did like this whole 360 ooga booga booga like 360 no scope on one of the parademons. It's like, was that really necessary? Like, if it's this big of a problem for you, why why do that? Why waste time when you could be using that to escape? You know, it just it didn't correlate with me. Um, so there's that. Let's see what else. What else? What else? It's just a very long movie to the point where, like, if I hadn't have written anything down, I would have forgotten everything, and I would just be thinking to myself, "What's the next thing I should be talking about?" So this actually helps out more than you think. Um, and the part wherever she's sliding, right, when she's trying to act cool to get out of the temple or whatever you want to call it, the little stronghold. I find it to be super hilarious that when she slid, what if her cape got stuck in the door? And she just stuck there, can't do anything about it. I don't know. That's the one thing that went through my head. It's like, imagine that's how you lose because of your stupidity of trying to act cool. uh, it was funny while it lasted. So yeah. Uh, oh yeah, the chase scene with the mother box and the Amazons on the horses. Not a lot changed in terms of scenes for that scene. Maybe a few things here and there were added, but the design that they used for Steppenwolf in that scene was basically probably the only thing that really changed, and like the axe, so to speak, like the powers it had and whatnot. So, anyways, the scene was still fairly good. You know, it still retained its image as it did in the last one. So not there wasn't a lot that changed from that one. Come on. The part, nah, that's not really that. You know what? Forget it. I'll talk about it. The scene, one of the coolest shots in during the Amazon chase scene was when Steppenwolf was like shot with so many arrows, and it was like it felt like absolutely nothing. You know, it was just like it literally exploded himself. I wouldn't say exploded himself. He like flexed, and all the arrows just shot off in the other direction. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. So, you know, it's like it just goes to show how much more stronger he was than they let on. Because in the last movie, it didn't even look like he was as strong as people thought he was. But in this movie, they did him so much justice. You can't argue that. And I really love that about the character. I did. Oh yeah. And another flaw I saw in the movie. How is it an Amazon or any Amazon in general can shoot an arrow so far, has super strength, but can't lift a horse? Whatever that one scene where Steppenwolf knocks the horse off of the ground to like get the cube and whatnot, and someone like wraps an arrow around it and then shoots it off like really far. If you've got that kind of super strength, why couldn't you just lift up the horse? I mean, if it's crushing your legs, literally just lift it. A horse can't be that heavy. Like, it doesn't. I don't know. It's super weird. It's weird to me, and I didn't understand that part in the slightest. Logistically speaking, that part of the movie did not hold up as much. So, you know. Uh, what? Hold on. Oh no. Uh, What? It says went in depth on how the roots came to be. I'm assuming that this is like the scene where they explain um how the mother boxes went into their respective places. Although I'm not sure. Hold on. Actually, I have the movie in front of me. Why don't I just look at that? That would help, wouldn't it? That would help. That would help. Oh wait, it's just the Amazon speaking. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no, that's right. Oh god, it's right. So it's when Steppenwolf goes back to like that Chernobyl place or whatnot, like in Russia or something, and he just puts the cubes in the middle of like this weird built up metal sheet. I don't think they showed that in the last movie, but it explains how like everything came to be, because in the last movie they didn't explain where or why the mother boxes did what they did in said power plant. And this movie really elaborated on that, because literally the last movie left us so much in the dark on very many different things, and this one just was like, really, really, really in depth in terms of, explaining to us, hey, this is what happened. Here you go. So, and I like that. I have more questions about the sheet metal thing or whatever. I don't even think it's metal that like shows up, and like they have the one guy who Steppenwolf, Desaad, it's Desaad, and then you got Darkseid. Like that's another thing that I want to touch base on, but that'll be later on. So just hold your horses, okay? But yeah, so there's that. Also, whenever Bruce and Alfred are on the plane, and Bruce is explaining, or Alfred is telling Bruce, like, hey, there's no need for you to do this. I don't know why you need to. And Bruce just like, I have to. I have a responsibility to him to assemble this team in order to, make my wrongs right. And I feel like that's him coming to terms with the tragedies he's done to Superman and the world. Although at first it was like his enemy became his friend, so to speak. And he realizes that after the fact, and that's like regret. That's the regret he has for what he has done. So he feels like doing this will actually, erase that regret and doubt that he has. And I like the fact that he came to terms with it, because you didn't see that in the last movie. You didn't, or maybe you did. I don't think you did. But no, I don't think you did. So I love that. Like I keep saying it. The small scenes that matter. Also, the same thing with the horse, with lifting up the horse. You can shoot an arrow across the ocean with little to no difficulty, with the extreme accuracy, but you can't lift the horse. That's insane. That again doesn't make very much sense to me. And when Wonder Woman is working, so to speak, how convenient. I find it to be very, very, very convenient that, at her work, she has a TV on, right? And it's at the channel that she just so happens to turn around and, oh, look, it's the shrine of the Amazons lit up. How convenient is that, right? And so I thought that was like, that's just way too convenient. You think it'd be more difficult for her to realize, hey, the shrine of my people is shining now. And leading off of that itself, how are you gonna tell me Wonder Woman legit left her work, went to the temple that the Amazons shot the arrow into, and her get out without being arrested? Because let's put this into perspective, right? If that place hasn't been lit in over 10,000 or something thousand years, no one would be able to just waltz in there, take what's in there, and leave. Literally, there would be guards everywhere. Because if it's that monumental and it was already like being shot and it's never been seen before, you wouldn't just be able to walk in there, take your stuff, and walk out. I understand she's Wonder Woman and she'd be able to like overpower the cops, but she's still a member of society, She can't just do what she wants when she wants to. So that didn't make sense. And then leading on from that scene itself, how are you gonna go underground in a place that's been untouched for years, or not even touched once, and be able to like open up a cavern that archaeologists would probably kill for. Now, I'm not saying the scene was bad, don't get me wrong. I actually enjoyed the fact that they elaborated more on that, so it gives a better story or a better background on Wonder Woman and her role in the story. Because without that, I don't think they would have been able to figure out that Darkseid was behind the whole thing, and that long, long ago there was a war on Earth for the anti-life equation, which I'll get more into later. But that's just one thing that went through my head. It just didn't make sense to me, like at all. How you just gonna waltz in and then waltz out and not be penalized for it? Doesn't make sense to me. Already elaborated on that. Oh yeah, and the introduction to Darkseid. The introduction to Darkseid was a big, big, big plus in this movie. Something that they did not elaborate on in the last movie, and I loved that. I loved that they, you know, showed that Darkseid is actually a threat. He's like Thanos. Whenever I don't remember which movie it was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where we first see Thanos. It kind of reminded me of that because, like, okay, so we've got a bigger threat at hand, and that's where you can like elaborate or go off of said movies from here on out. From the Justice League, you can expand your universe and go to different movies and have different villains fight each other to lead up to the final battle with Darkseid. Now, even so, that probably won't even be the final battle. There'll probably still be battles here and there and more characters that join in. But I love that they introduced him and they gave him dialogue and, you know, explaining why he's here, what he wants, and all of that. So, again, something that the last movie did not do. And I'm glad that they did it in this one, because it was good. That's what made this movie really, really good. The things that weren't seen were introduced. Oh yeah, and after that, the introduction of all different stories of each Justice League member was a big what's it called? A big plus. I already said that. Was a big help in the movie. I'll just go with that. I'll go with that answer. It was a very, very, very big help in the movie because if you remember in the last one, they really didn't elaborate very much on Aquaman, the Flash, Cyborg, maybe Wonder Woman, question mark. They didn't really go into the backstory of why they're here to begin with. And that's the weird thing, you know? I don't know why they didn't do that in the last one. It honestly could have done a lot better if they did it in the last one. But since you had to come up with this one, because the last one didn't get as much traction as they wanted, you know, it was better for the movie. In the long run, it was a lot better for the movie. Oh yeah, also because of said what's it called? Said homage to Aquaman in this movie, it actually expresses, there's some dialogue that expresses some future vision to the Aquaman movie, because the Aquaman movie came after Justice League. So we already knew what the plot was from this movie. They mentioned something about Aquaman's brother trying to wage war on the human world. So that was something. It's like, oh well, we already know what the Aquaman movie's about, and it's like, well, if they would have shown that in the last movie, we would have known. But and then again, people like to be kept in the dark about this kind of stuff, so I can't blame them. So it could have gone either way for each one of them. So you know, hello, hi chat, how you doing? What's going on? Also, I will not be answering any Godzilla based questions in this one. I am going strictly just Justice League because it's a Justice League based podcast. So just letting y'all know that. Just letting y'all know. That. Oh yeah, like I stated, Steppenwolf and Desaad and Darkseid having character development, actually, like, you know, having reasons for doing what they did or doing what they do now, and you know, finding the mother boxes and whatnot, which again, the last movie did not elaborate on. Um, so I really like that the villains of all people had character development. So it's not, I don't know very much about the Justice League either. You know, I'm just seeing what I saw and I love it. I actually downloaded Injustice 2 just to play it to see what correlation it had with this, and it really doesn't. And there's characters that could be added to future movies, so you know they've got their work cut out for them, and they've got very many avenues that they could go down. What do the mother boxes do? They're mother boxes, so there's three of them. From what I remember, there are three of them. They were made by aliens, or some weird organism that created them. They're not, from like I said, from what I remember, they are not of a material that humans know. And if they come together, there's three of them. If they come together, they actually terraform worlds, and that's what Darkseid wanted to do to Earth years ago. And I'll get more in depth with this later. I'm just gonna go through the brief overview of that. You want to do it? Didn't work. He wants to come back to Earth to find the anti-life equation. Like, besides the mother box, that's two different things. The mother boxes and the anti-life equation, two very different things. Which I'm sure they will elaborate on later on. But yeah, no, it's a different substance not known to man, and I'll get more in depth on the mother boxes later on whenever I get to Cyborg's section of the movie, because I've got a crap ton of questions for that as well. But yeah, no. Anyways, Steppenwolf, Desaad, Darkseid, great character development. They've got a very good pathway to go from here in terms of their character path and who they have to fight, if that makes sense. Yeah, so Darkseid's invasion. So as we all know, I think it was Diana who explained it, the Wonder Woman, if you don't know who Diana is. They explained it as long time ago, Darkseid and his little crew decided to come to Earth to find the anti-life equation. Because they had terraformed tens of thousands of worlds to try to find this equation. Apparently the equation is, you know, something that can take over the universe or something like that. I don't know very much about the anti-life equation. It was a great scene, great cinematic shot of pretty much everything. The fighting was amazing. And it explains that the mother boxes were meant to be, like, they were close to being put together, but actually they were, like, shot apart, and Darkseid was forced to retreat. But during that fight, I don't know if who I saw. I know I saw some Green Lanterns, which Green Lantern is not introduced. Or I wouldn't say he's not introduced. He's not shown, like, the main dude who is a part of the Green Lantern franchise, which originally was Ryan Reynolds, but that failed in itself a long time ago. So they didn't introduce that in Justice League. But they introduced some characters that were a part of the Green Lantern, and they had, like, I think Hercules and, like, some other girl that had the same powers or something. So, like, the Atlanteans, the humans, and the Amazons, they all fought in a giant war to take out Darkseid and his crew. They were successful. They took each mother box, buried it, or put it in a monument, which is another thing. Like, why put it in a giant temple that can be seen by everyone and have those two be taken first? Like, the Amazons and the Atlanteans literally put them in temples. Like, I wouldn't say worship them, but to, like, as like a treasury kind of thing. But then the humans, being humans, literally just bury the thing. They're like, yeah, whatever. And that's the last one that gets captured. I find that to be hilarious. The one that did the absolute less amount of work is the last one to be taken. But the ones that are put in, like, these temples guarded by people with literal superpowers are taken first. Like, that doesn't, I don't get that. Like, I just don't, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I just found that to be super funny. It's like, wow, crazy. And the fight for, in the last, like, years ago, whenever they did the flashback, it reminded me a lot of Endgame from, Avengers. Like, very much so. But not as good as it, so to speak. They also cut the movie into segments. The part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. I didn't see part 3. No, yeah, part 2. They never elaborated on part 2. I think they skipped over that. So that's something. And each one, each part, the title had something, was like a broad overview of what the next act was going to be. So I don't know if very many people noticed that, but I realized that, like, in the grand scheme of things, each part was mentioned throughout each act. If that, I literally just repeated myself. Oops. Have a habit of doing that. Did I say raccoon girl? What? Oh wait, that's right. Okay, so and then after that, after the what's it called? The flashback battle, they go into Barry Allen's story. Personally, Barry Allen was probably the funniest character out of this entire thing. Now, granted, the comedic timing could have been a little bit better. I'm not saying it wasn't the worst. There were times where it was like actually funny, like whenever he was talking to what's it called? The dog store clerk, the daycare clerk for the dogs. That was actually funny. But I'm there's one part during the scene where he sees this girl, right? No name, no nothing. She's just some random girl that they see. And apparently he gets into an accident and he uses his super speed, blows out of his shoes. Great cinematic shot, by the way. And he goes super fast, breaks through the door window and saves her from the car. Um and honestly, the effects that are used in that scene itself are absolutely amazing. And I don't know what it was. Like, he literally poked the glass and it stretched and then broke. I'm like, that looked awesome. And the fact that he just exploded out of his shoes was also cool. And then, he saves the girl and whatnot, grabs a hot dog out of the sky, which I thought he was going to be like, he was in the process of grabbing her and he's like, ooh, hot dog, and puts it in his pocket. I thought as soon as after he was going to do that, he was going to grab the rest of them and completely forget about it. I was going to be like, that's actually hilarious. But no, he actually ends up saving her. They look at each other for like, I don't know, like a 30 seconds, and then he just speeds off. Oh, no, he doesn't speed off. He goes back into the daycare thing, and then just has like this funny one-liner or something. It's like, you know what? That's crazy. I hope everyone's okay. Whenever tragic times like this happen, I always remember to bring a snack for the dogs. And then the store clerk just looks at him like, and he's like, so I start Monday? I don't know. I thought it was a really good scene. Cinematically shot and effect wise, awesome, amazing. I loved it. And Barry Allen had a better character development in this story than he did the last one. And I think the same thing applies for Cyborg, and I wouldn't say Aquaman. Honestly, Aquaman, he didn't have very much of a character development. Maybe that's because his movie was next and they didn't want to elaborate more on him, which would make sense in the long run. But I mean, they just didn't really elaborate on him very much. I think Barry Allen and Cyborg, or the Flash, if you want to call it, had more of a character development in this movie than any other ones, which actually works because we haven't really heard from Cyborg or Flash before this movie. So, isn't Batman just a superhero because he's rich and buff? Yeah, that's his superpower. You remember that? The Flash literally asks him, "So what's your superpower again?" And then he looks at him and goes, "I'm rich." And then he drives off in this awesome looking Mercedes. I just don't know what it is, but it's a really nice looking car. I've literally just skipped halfway through my notes. But I'll touch base on that later. I already introduced this Flash. I already introduced that too. I literally explained like 7 different points. Guys, we got through the first page. Good job. Good job, everybody. Okay, yeah. And another thing, after this scene with Flash, okay, there's another part where the Atlanteans are being taken by parademons to consult Steppenwolf, right, and explain where the second mother box is, because at this time the first mother box was taken to the nuclear plant in Russia, And my question is, since when did parademons swim, let alone get past defenses to get to said people? And like, if that's the case, how, like how? I don't. I fully don't understand. Like, when did parademons start swimming? And if that's the case, how did any of the other Atlanteans just let the parademons take them and leave? Like, wouldn't they notice that? Don't they communicate telepathically? Like, that doesn't, I didn't understand that scene. Like, how did you manage to get them from that far underneath the ocean? And logic just didn't add up there. But I won't question it. It's just a small thing. Actually, I did just question it. What am I talking about? I literally just questioned it. But yeah, no, that's one thing that was very weird to me. And then they go into Cyborg's past. I've probably mentioned this before. I don't know if I did, but the fact that they go into the different pasts of each Justice League character was a big I would say not problem. Let me reword that. Going into the pasts of each character did justice for this movie. No pun intended. As in Justice League. So I feel like that just gave them more character development, something that the last movie didn't do. So that was something I actually really liked to see. And honestly, it made you feel for the characters. It really did, because without the past, what's it called? Not expressions. What am I talking about? What am I saying? What am I trying to say? Without the past character development or, experience that they had, you really wouldn't feel for the character. You honestly wouldn't. And I'm glad that this movie did it. And there's so many things that the last movie could have done that they didn't do, but I think it's only because it's like, well, we can't have a 4-hour movie. There's no need for that. It's like, sometimes more is better. Sometimes it is. And it was. And the fact, okay, so, I keep saying that, sorry. Now going on to Cyborg. Now, whenever we first saw the first movie, Cyborg didn't have very much of a past. We didn't know anything about him. All we knew is that, hey, Metal Man, half human. But now that we know that Cyborg was, a football player for Gotham City University, and he was killed in a car crash, and his father tried to bring him alive, although they did somewhat elaborate on that in the last one, they didn't really go in depth as much as they did in this movie. And it actually made you feel for the character. Like, what was he made of? Why does he do what he do? Why does he do what he does? And I really actually liked it. Him having the power to control literally everything around him. Like cameras, bank accounts, social security numbers, just literally everything in the world. He controls everything. He is the pinnacle of human evolution. And that's a lot of power. That's a lot of power to be bestowed upon you. I can't lie about that. But I really loved his backstory. I did. And I actually felt with the character. I did. Now, I can't relate to the character, but I did feel for him. I did. I'm just very confused why they didn't elaborate on that earlier. I don't know why they couldn't elaborate that in the last movie. And how Cyborg's father explained his capabilities and his powers. The cinematic was awesome. How like Cyborg looked inside of himself to see what he is on the inside. You see the mountains, you see him, his back turned to the camera, and you got like the weird moon looking thing, and then like this building, and like he tests like his abilities on this woman who's broke and has kids, and then he fills up her bank with like thousands upon thousands of dollars, and it makes you feel for the character. And then he's like happy about what he does afterwards. He's like, I helped out somebody today. And it just goes to show how much absolute power this guy has. And without him, I don't think this movie would have gone very far, because he did play a huge part. He did. And then there's one part throughout the film where Cyborg's literally looking at said person because he has access to every single person on the world, like the databases and everything. How was he even able to see them? You know, like I understand that there might be cameras around, but how do you explain a camera in a bus? Like the bus that they were on, it doesn't. If I remember correctly, a bus like that doesn't have cameras. So how are you able to see that? How are you able to see what that person is doing? It's just very weird to me because you have like an all-seeing eye. You could just see through reality. Like the fabrication of reality doesn't exist for this guy. Is that how it is? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Oh yeah, and also like I said before, the Mercedes, the interaction between Barry Allen and Batman whenever he goes into his apartment, and then Batman's like, "I'm building a team. I want you to join," and then he goes, "I'll stop you right there. I'm in." And he's like, "Wait, is that easy?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. Let me go in." And so I thought that part was probably my favorite part of the entire movie, just watching that scene alone. It was kind of the same as it was in the last one, just like I said, a few more added dialogue pieces, and they changed the car. I believe the Mercedes wasn't there before. I think it was like a BMW. No, it wasn't Mercedes. It was just an older version or something. But yeah, no, that car was nice. I don't know what it was called. Oh boy, oh, it's nice. Going on to Aquaman scene, the character development on Aquaman. The underwater shots really do breathe life into what it's like underwater. Actually, they didn't use vibrant colors in the cinematics because honestly, it's not as bright as you would think. It's not like it was years upon years ago whenever the coral reefs were thriving and everything. So I like how they use the saturation and the color coordination on the oceans. Um, it really brought out the life and the reality of what the world is actually like underwater. So, you know, I'm just here to say I liked it. Although I wish they would have like lightened it up just a bit because it was kind of hard to see. Maybe that was just me, but it was a bit difficult to see what was happening there. But other than that, it was absolutely fantastic. Uh, and when Steppenwolf decided to, get the box right, Amber Heard, and I know a lot of people don't like Amber Heard, but we're not talking about that right now. If she has that weird ability where she's able to like suck the water out of somebody just like by just existing, and like the blood and everything, what I was gonna say. What does it say? Why couldn't she just use that at the beginning? Like literally, why couldn't she just do that from the beginning? And not to mention, since she has that ability, why didn't she use that in Aquaman? I know we're not talking about like the Aquaman movie, but why didn't she? It's just food for thought. Like I don't fully understand it. Um, and since when did Steppenwolf get the ability to breathe underwater or swim? Well, I wouldn't say swim. I feel like that's a universal thing you should do. But wouldn't the pressure of the ocean just like crush him? 'Cause it's that far deep. Wouldn't it crush you? Especially if you haven't been down there before. You're not what's it called? Used to being in that deep of water. Wouldn't that kill you? Mm, mm, mm. Oh yeah. Also, the scene where Steppenwolf was absolutely obliterating the other Atlanteans. That one scene where he cuts the Atlantean in half looked absolutely brutal. So bad. Just with no hesitation, just sliced the man at the waist and was like, "Oh, wow, wow!" And the fight scene was very good. The fight scene was actually fairly decent. Why do I even have these on? I'm not even listening to anything. I'm only just now realizing that. Anyways, hold on, let me look for the scene. I'm way behind. I'm like an hour and 34 minutes behind. Um, Give me a second, guys. I apologize. Too far? I think I'm too far. Oh yeah, and about Cyborg's design, I really like how it looked realistic. It really does. Although even though it's made of like the mother box material, it looked like he would be, like if that makes sense. Like the way he looked is exactly what he would look like, so to speak. And leading off of the Aquaman fight. If Aquaman had since he was headbutted into the rock, right? You would think if he's in that much urgency to like, get out of there with the box, why would he just sit there and be attacked by Steppenwolf? He literally stood there. I wouldn't say stood there. He was literally locked into the rock for like 2 minutes, right? And it's confusing because if you have that much urgency to get out of there, why stay there? Because that fight would have been over if you would have just moved. The fight would have kept going on if he would have just moved. Unless he realized, hey, I'm no match for this guy. I should probably leave. Then I guess that makes sense. But he just stood there and accepted the fact that he was going to get hit. It doesn't make very much sense to me. You know what? From now on, I probably need a co-host for this. Talking about this stuff myself, like I genuinely hate hearing myself talk. Again, with this, I can't read my writing. Oh yeah, the humans in the mother box, but not like how is that one? How is that one the one that was the last to be found? Even though they literally just buried it and put little to no effort into it. That surprised me. Even though it was in Victor's closet, his dad put it there. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like that would be one of the first ones to be found. Oh yeah, and then towards the give me a second. And once Steppenwolf gets the second box from Atlantis and he goes back to the um to Russia, right? How does the mother boxes or the mother how did the mother box know that the barrier should go a certain distance? Because it conveniently covered the entire town that was there. Nothing else. It just stopped at the outskirts of town. Why? I have no idea. But like, how does it? If it's that powerful, wouldn't it go a little bit farther? It just doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't much make sense to me. Okay. That just didn't sit well with me. It's like how does the mother box know to have a certain distance? If it's that powerful, it should go as far as it wants to, but it doesn't, and that's weird. But regardless, I really liked the way that they the shield looked actually, and like the effects that it took to like put the mother box in. It really like I don't know, the special effects that were added to that gave the scene life. I liked it. And during the part right before, I wouldn't say right before Superman's revival, but whenever Aquaman, Superman, no, not Superman, God, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, and Batman have the first fight scene with Steppenwolf, or the low key. I mean, Aquaman wasn't there to begin with, but that one over, I think it was by Gotham and underneath the reservoir or the harbor. Honestly, there wasn't very much of a change in terms of the last movie and this one. Maybe like again a few dialogue changes and a few added scenes. But other than that, nothing really changed about that one. The one thing I found hilarious was like the epic music was playing while they were going up the stairs. It's like four of you are literal superheroes. You could, run your way up there super fast, jump really, really high, or fly. I understand Batman. He doesn't have very much of an option, but even then, he could use his grappling gun, but he didn't. They just had like they were just walking up the stairs to epic music. It's like, what? Excuse me? Why play the epic music if you're just gonna walk upstairs? And then obviously, when Diana does absolutely nothing, you got the music playing again. It's like, dude, please, of all the music you could have played, you decided to go with this one? She's done nothing. She's just standing there looking at water. Could you not? But no, they did it anyways, because, you know what? Why not? Let's overplay it. And towards the end of that fight, I find it very convenient, like super, super convenient, that Aquaman just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and, did what he did, because he could have literally been anywhere. No one told him where he was going to be. Like, literally no one told Aquaman where the rest of the Justice League was going to be. And he just happenstance to end up at the same place everyone was fighting whenever the hole exploded in the harbor. Just happened to. No explanation, just there. Again, very weird. And if you can't stop that kind of water, like it's not even compared to like all the water in the ocean, right? And I know he has more impressive feats. He showed that in Aquaman. If you can't stop that little amount of water, and I say little in terms of him, not for like humans, just regular humans, but like for Aquaman. If you can't stop that amount of water, should you really be calling yourself Aquaman? Like, come on. You should be able to stop that with little to no ease. But no, it's like after a minute or two, you get to like get engulfed in the water. But there's one thing I did like that they didn't add in the last one, is you could actually see Aquaman's silhouette throughout the water. They didn't add that in the last one. As soon as like the reservoir or the harbor exploded, he was just there. He's just hovering in the water, and you could see it. And Diana saw it. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. I know it took a lot of CGI to get that done, so it has one of my praises. Also, when Victor touched the mother box, it actually made him see visions of, I'm not sure if it was like the future or whatnot, or if it was like his own mind that he was seeing. But I find that to be very weird, because like the human towards the end of the movie, you see Victor's dad touch the box and it did nothing to him. And it's like, but if maybe it's because Victor is the mother box, like he's part of the genetic material that makes up the mother box. Maybe that's why he's able to see it. But I found that scene to be very confusing. Like, why was he seeing visions? What was the point? I don't know if anyone else actually touched the cube or the mother box and like saw things. I don't remember that. But I know what Batman would have seen. Not much is evident. Was it? Oh, that's right. No, I understand it now. I just need to read the next one. So the reason he touched the box, the vision he saw is because he's able to. Let me backtrack for a second. My apologies. He's able to say where the box has been throughout its entire life. So they explained that, it was in World War II. It was intercepted by the Germans and brought to America and studied upon by different workers or different scientists. And Cyborg's dad got a hold of it, and after like many years, because it sat in containment for like 70 some odd years, and then he started using it and found out the secrets of it, was able to harness it, which doesn't make sense. How is it a human using primitive technology is able to harness the power of the mother box, but the people who literally created the things don't know how to harness its own power? That doesn't make any sense in the slightest. A mere human is able to harness the power of that thing. That just didn't make sense. That didn't sit well with me. I feel like that was just plot. That was just plot armor at its finest. And going off of him after the father taking the box out of containment for 70 years, How are you just gonna dig into that with no protective gear? You have no idea how radioactive that thing is. You have no idea what's in that box. And yet he just, out of nowhere, oh, let me just cut off the top. Reach in there, take it out. Let me lick it for a second. Let me bathe with it. I know that's not what he actually did, but like the fact that he just reaches in there, doesn't even care, and just lifts it out and like looks at it, like it's an alien based object. Why not wear protective stuff? I feel like that would be code or rule number one. You are a scientist. Anyone who's a scientist knows that. So again, that does not make sense to me. And then you've got the Martian hunter, the Martian dude, after talking to Lois Lane. Although it wasn't actually Martha that talked to Lois, it was the was it what was his name? The Martian hunter? Martian hunter? I only know a little bit about him. I read about him in the comic book series where Black Adam tries to take over the world because Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and all the other bigwigs are like off world or something, doing God knows what. I don't remember. It's been some time since I've read it. But I've only ever heard about him once. Although he does have some interesting powers. I wish he played more of a role in this movie. Although at the same time, I feel like his screen time was actually, you know, it was normal. There was no need for more. There was no need for less. And it was a perfect balance between the two. Because it's like a character, well, I would say a character wrapped in mystery. It's just some people who don't know DC like me at first were like, who is this dude? Who are you? But then you've got the other DC guys like, oh my god, it's the Motion Hunter. So there's that. I guess it's two different reactions. So I was the first reaction, like, who is this dude? But yeah, no, he's gonna play a big role in future movies. I am almost certain. And I love his character design, especially bringing it to the big screen from seeing it from the comics. Absolutely amazing. I loved it. And you can like transform into different people. Absolutely astonishing. That's a very interesting movie as or power. I wrote down Alfred references to the opening text to part 5, but that literally doesn't mean anything. Like, I just thought that was okay, cool. What did you say? The scene where Superman is being revived. The scene what I liked the most about that scene was, all of them realizing, except for Batman, because he's like, I gotta do it, you have to. No, I made a promise. Is Cyborg realizing after touching the cube, or, being a part of the cube, realizing, hey, yo, this probably isn't the best idea, because he had a vision leading towards the future about Darkseid's invasion. And he's like, this is not a good idea. We should not do this. And the fact that him saying no to everything after his flashback and Flash actually thinking it's yes, or no, actually after him thinking he said no or go, actually changed the course of history for DC right there. Right then and there, that changed the course of DC, or the future for DC in the DC universe, not like, the writers or whatnot out like IRL, but that just because Flash interpreted Cyborg's no as go, that changed everything. And I like how, wait, I'm trying to remember, how did Flash do it? Did he go back in time? No, he didn't. Yeah, I know he did. He went back in time, which again, I don't understand that. How can him going back in time affect what's around him? I thought it was like how does that work exactly? Because shouldn't he be touching something in order for that to be working? I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand how speed works in terms of light travel and reverse time. But I'm not gonna question it because it was cool. And then the revival of Superman and whatnot. That fight didn't really that scene with Superman's revival and Superman being revived and fighting the Justice League. Nothing really changed about that. Everything was pretty much the same. Still same great cinematics, same dialogue. Um, and everything's just the same when it came to that. I'm not saying it wasn't bad. It was fairly good. It was. I actually liked that fight better than any of the other fights that I saw. So, you know, that's that. I wish they would have. I wish they would have. Um, Actually, no. Never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say something about Darkseid and him being introduced some more, but it's like, do we really want that? I feel like he has a more of a special role to play later on, because he's like the Thanos of the DC universe. God, I was called there for a second. And the I'm going back a little bit to whenever they try to revive Superman. I like the fact that they had the different suits whenever they were walking through the hallway. The different suits that showed up. I honestly thought that was really cool. That was a good touch to the scene itself, because he's got so many options. And I don't know if they showed that in the last movie, but that was, it was very interesting to see in this one. I actually did enjoy seeing all the different suits that were there. I was wondering, it's like, hey, what's the one? What's the one over there? I don't know what that looks like. So I'm just putting that out there. I liked it. Um, and the ship's liquid. I don't understand how it's able to revive people. I understand the mother box is able to like reverse death or like give life to something. I don't know if it's even give life, just reverse death. But how does the liquid play any part in any of that? I wondered that in Batman versus Superman and in Justice League. That doesn't make sense to me. How does that do that? I don't know. If someone has the answer to that, let me know. Because I cannot figure that one out. It doesn't make sense to me. Oh yeah, and the vision he saw right before he activated the cube of, Diana being killed and like, burned like a Viking funeral to at Darkseid's hand, and like all the different Justice League heroes like Cyborg and uh who was the name? The Flash and Aquaman. Did I say Aquaman? Aquaman. Yeah, how they have like the different relics of like that are specifically for them, like Aquaman's trident, Batman's cowl, and all that. You see those during this vision, and like Superman joins Darkseid's side because he can't do very much by himself because Lois Lane was killed, and he's going on a fit of rage and he can't do anything. Um, I like that cinematic, and I realized that that's not a vision. That is actually what will happen in the near future. Now, granted, the way things are going now, yes, that's what will happen. But if things could take a different course, it's like Avengers Endgame, so to speak. It's quite literally like that. And going off of the vision that Cyborg saw with Batman, how holding Batman, Superman holding Batman's cowl and all the relics that each Justice League member has, it reminded me of Tony Stark's vision of the world being invaded by Thanos. It was a direct correlation between the two. You can't argue that. It was literally the direct correlation, and I found that to be very interesting, because you don't know whether or not that vision was real or fake or something that is just something he thinks of because he's part of the mother box. It's I guess it's left the viewer's mind to find out until the movie that says this is gonna happen actually happens. Same thing happens with Batman. He has the exact same visions, so it makes you believe, it's like, dang, this is actually probably what's gonna happen. This isn't just a vision thing. If many people are having this same idea or dream, so to speak, then it's probably gonna happen. I just thought I should I just put that out there. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Guys, we did page 3. Good job. How many more do I have? Okay, 3 more pages. Good. And oh my goodness, the one line that the ship says, it's like the future has taken. yeah, the future has taken root in the present. That line itself was low key creepy to hear. Because if you think back to what I just said with the visions and how things happen in the future taking root in the present quite literally means that. And you have to think to yourself, what events will lead up to that happening? What could possibly happen in that time span that could cause all of that to go down? And what ways could happen in order for that said thing not to happen? That makes sense. So it's just food for thought because it's like, dang, that's crazy. They didn't show that. And the thing is, they never showed that in the original Justice League. Although they elaborated a little bit on it in Batman versus Superman. But at first, if you like, since before Justice League came out, you would think to yourself, "Oh, this is just what happens when Superman takes over." But then you realize this is what happens if Darkseid takes over because Superman can't do anything about it. Again, I don't know very much about Darkseid and how he works. He probably gets stronger and stronger every time he fights or something along those lines. I don't know, but the fact that the ship literally says the future has taken place in the present. Very interesting. You just gotta think about it. And then whenever they're fighting Clark, how does Wonder Woman say he doesn't know who he is? What do you mean he doesn't know who he is? Of course he knows who he is. Plus, if you're gonna shoot at somebody, odds are the other person's gonna shoot back. That just makes sense. So like, literally, if you shoot somebody, which again I don't understand how uh Superman's able to control the mother box or control Cyborg because Cyborg is made from the mother boxes. So I don't know how Superman's able to control him, like make him do things. That's a thing that I don't fully understand. There's probably some lore behind it that I'm yet to find. But yeah, if you shoot at somebody, the odds are they're gonna shoot back. So I guess that makes sense. And the fact that he was just dogging on everybody there was absolutely hilarious. Like no one stood a chance against him. And then Flash's face after realizing Superman can move almost as fast as he can surprised me. He's just like, hold on, no, that's illegal. You can't do that. And then Flash is like fighting for his life not to get hit. I love that scene so much. And then whenever Superman is trying to get to Batman because he sees him, he tries to approach him, and then you got all the my alarm went off. Whenever he tries to approach different people, so to speak, or yeah, no, whenever other people approach him. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. He literally just grabs him and throws him. Same thing with Cyborg. Cyborg tries to go in. He's like using all of his power. And Superman grabs him by the back and just throws him out like trash. And then you don't see from Cyborg again after that entire scene. I loved it. I love that fight scene so much because it just shows how much more stronger Superman is than everybody else. It's not even really a fight. All right, boys. I'll be right back. I need to do something. I will be right back. Okay. Okay. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. There's one part I wrote down that says the plan. They have a plan finally, because throughout the entire movie they literally just winged the entire thing. But once they finally got like everyone together, they're just like, we have a plan. So that was nice. And the acting in most of this movie, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. The acting throughout the most of this movie was flawless. I didn't find any problems with it. I thought it was good. It went well with the fight scenes, with the serious scenes, and with the funny scenes. It was all well balanced. I actually liked that. And the reunion of Clark and Martha, it hit home. It did. It really did. Because like it's been a year since she's seen her son, and he was dead. He was literally dead. And the fact that he's back alive and she can finally see her son again, it just speaks volumes, you know? And then he finally realizes who he actually is. He's like, yeah, I'm the protector of Earth. I gotta do something now. So, see you later. And then just leaves. I like that. I really did. And whenever he goes to his ship, and you have like the dialogue playing in the background of like Jonathan, his father, and his actual father, Jor-El, I believe. Jor-El. He like looks for the suit he should wear. And the thing I love the most about Zack Snyder and him deciding which suit to go with, I loved the gray and black suit. I can't tell you how much better I like that one than I did the red, white, and yellow one. No, the red, blue, and yellow one. I don't know, something about that black and gray was perfect. It literally was the greatest thing I've seen in the movie. And I know that sounds weird, but like, it's just something about it. It was just so cool to look at. So much more better than the red caped one. You can't argue that. I loved that one. And what's it? What is it? Again, I wanted to see what the other suits look like on the ship that he was in, but you know, whatever. It is what it is, you know. And the Superman in the atmosphere, Kong fans, when they come up with an excuse that they think will work, they're just there. They're just there above the atmosphere with like the world and everything. They just think they're all powerful or whatnot. I find it to be funny. Great. Also, a very great cinematic shot. I loved that shot so much. And when he's in the atmosphere and he's looking out towards like the sun, I believe. I think it was the sun. Perfect, great CGI or green screen, I don't know. Regardless, amazing. I loved it. Once the final battle starts, when I wouldn't say all of the members are there, but when Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, and Cyborg are all near the what is it? Russia? What is it called? The nuclear base. Good lord, man. It's surprising to me that Steppenwolf didn't put like outside defenses just in case. I know it's like because no one would be stupid enough to go break in, but it's the Justice League. What do you expect? That's exactly what they would do. And I don't know. It would just make sense, wouldn't it? And the fact that it took the Parademons so long to realize, hey, someone's trying to break in, and yeah, they did, and we're not doing anything about it. And I just feel like it was too easy for Bruce. Like, he literally broke into it, right? It's supposed to be made with the power of the mother box. It's not supposed to be easy to penetrate, but apparently it was with just some basic missiles that humans made compared to a giant, what's it called? An object made from like objects that no one knows what they're made of except the people who actually made it, and it just broke through. And it's like, what is this? How does this make sense? And then they just break down the roots, the tentacle roots, like it's nothing, and it's just that easy. Like it went way too easy for them. Hello, chat. How we doing today? It was just, I feel like the plan went too well, so to speak. Just way too well. And then the scenes where all of them are fighting together, and then you've got like the separate scenes within the major scene itself, where you've got Aquaman and Cyborg working together to take out parademons. Got the Flash, just running around trying to like get to light speed in order for Cyborg, when he goes and touches the mother boxes, to like separate them. Um, I like that, and like all the different things they did Aquaman justice in that scene. Nothing really changed very much in terms of the scene from Zack Snyder's cut and the old cut. I don't remember who made the old cut, but not a lot changed in terms of scenes there. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really expecting very much of a change. The fight scene was fine in itself, regardless of the movie. So, again, I'm not very concerned about that. Oh yeah, and whenever Bruce was on his way to the main area, and Diana was on her way to like save him from like a parademon killing him, her theme song came on, right? Her mouth was open. It legitimately looked like she was singing her theme song. I was like, you ruined the scene. You literally ruined it. Like, she just, like, the way that the scene played out, it zoomed her in, it slowed her down for like half a second, and saw her cut through it, and you can see her mouth open. It looks like she's singing, and she just flies off. It's like, what? What is this? It was so stupid, but so funny at the same time. Ugh. It may have been, it was funny to me, but it's probably not funny to you, but you know what? Who cares? Oh, crap. Yeah, something? Sure. Go right ahead. Ugh. Oh, I should have mentioned that before I started this. I'll mention it towards the end. I keep forgetting. I'm not listening to anything, so I don't know why I have these on. I literally have no reason to have that on. And on the tower, that Steppenwolf was in, or like on scaling the outside of the nuclear plant, the guns that the parademons used looked actually really cool. Like the way that it was absorbing energy from the roots itself into the gun and shooting it out. Very, very weird. I don't know how that worked exactly, but it looked cool. It really did. I liked it. It got me intrigued. And then right before they break into the place Steppenwolf's in, that awesome cinematic shot shown of each character in their like respective poses right before they're about to break in. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Amazing scene. I wouldn't say the best scene, but an amazing snapshot. Like, that's like cover worthy. That like poster board kind of worthy, I liked it. It was good. During the final battle, right when Cyborg is about to like, tell Flash, "Hey, I need your help to break these up." Why is it when Steppenwolf gets back up onto the platform and like Wonder Woman and Aquaman are down on the floor, why did he just wait? Why did he just walk? Literally, he could have finished off Cyborg then and there. But no, what he does is he looks at him, walks around him to get behind him, and then decides to strike. You see, in that time span, you could have literally finished him off. But no, whenever you striked or tried to, Superman came in and blocked it. Again, awesome scene. I loved the entrance that Superman made, especially with the new suit. Fabulous. Absolutely amazing. But I just don't get that. If Steppenwolf wanted them to like leave or die or whatnot, why didn't he just take care of it then and there? I mean, he wasn't far away. Cyborg was like right here. He wasn't like over here. So, like, literally, you could have just swung it, gone, bye. But no, I don't fully understand that scene at all. So, you know what? Zack Snyder probably had a reason for it. I'm not gonna question it, even though I literally just questioned it, and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna roll with it. I think that was mainly because he wanted to like bring in Superman and see how cool it was. Which, by the way, very cool. By the way, I really liked it. And then, my favorite part of the entire movie was Bruce or Batman and his chair flying around. This is the funniest thing I've seen. He's just there and he just flies around in his chair. And then right whenever he's about to be like, hit by a parademon, he shoots off his grappling gun. And if you see from the scene itself, this is one of the main things that I had problems with, because Batman should have died then and there. The distance from the building he was grappling to from his chair was very far, but once you go to the next scene, you actually see that it seemed like it was closer. But a grappling gun would not reach its target that fast. There's no way. And with that being said, it would have taken at least another like 2, maybe 3 seconds before it actually reached the building. So he would have been impaled by one of the parademons. But so I don't, maybe it's just plot armor. I don't know. But that was one of the main things I had problems with. I watched it. I was like, I shouldn't have been that way. He should have been hit at least. So, yeah. During after that scene, it cuts back to Aquaman, right? And there's one part where he somehow goes. This may be just be an effect-based thing. I want to say that's the case, but there's a part where he goes slow-mo, right? And everything else is going fast. Like, you're no Flash. How are you going slow motion? And you can actually see it as he's about to do it, and then he somehow gets like close enough to Steppenwolf and like stabs him or something. Now I'm not talking. This is like before the very very end. This is like towards the beginning, maybe a little bit towards the middle of the battle, and like he just goes slow mo. It's like how are you slow? I don't really much understand that. Again, it's probably just an effects based thing, so I'm not gonna get too in depth with it because there's really no need to. I just found that to be super weird. Oh yeah, and Alfred and Superman reacting uh was personally really really cool. I don't know why. I literally like the fact that Alfred and Superman started interacting with each other. It just brought a new meaning to like, different superheroes meeting other superheroes subordinates and whatnot, even though Batman works for Alfred. I don't know. I just found it to be super, super cool. And then finally. Oh wait, no, never mind. Not finally. Not finally. Forget I said that. I didn't say finally. The triple team between Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman against Steppenwolf was definitely cool, but super unfair. He just kept knocking around Steppenwolf like it was nothing, just out of nowhere, bam, 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 and Steppenwolf couldn't do a thing about it. Although he was holding his own for a little bit, like maybe a bit, but again, it was a bit unfair. So I don't know. I like seeing Steppenwolf get his ass kicked. That was funny. Um, but he wasn't a villain to be sneezed at. Maybe. I mean, he did lose Superman. Once Superman got involved, it was over for him before he even knew it. Like I don't know if he realized it. He's like, yeah, no, I'm definitely losing this one now that Superman's involved. Like once Superman's in the mix, it's over for the other team. There's no rhyme or reason unless you're like a Kryptonian based being that's like made from Kryptonian. That doesn't make very much sense. Like if Superman's on your team, you're winning 9 times out of 10. Maybe 9.5 times out of 10. Just saying. It's just unfair. And when Cyborg's communicating with the Flash, how is it a mic can be spoken into super clear when you're running at the speed of light? Wouldn't that thing break? And wouldn't the message get to the person like, I don't know, how many hours later? Because isn't that how that works? Like, if you're running at the speed of light, your voice should not carry so perfectly and so pristine to the point where the other person can hear you. It'd be like cutting in and out. Because like, here's the thing: if you talk, let's just put this into perspective. If you talk in one area and you run around, right, and you're still talking, you're gonna hear that as you keep going around, especially if you're going that fast. I'm thinking of this logistically. Like that doesn't make sense. You would just get jumbled. You'd hear a bunch of different things, right? That makes sense. It makes sense. So I don't understand that part. Like, how could Cyborg understand what Flash is saying when he's moving so fast? And then another thing, how is it a parademon is gonna shoot the Flash like with no scope, just shoot it out of nowhere and somehow hit him when he's moving that fast? What are the odds of that actually hitting him? I find that to be. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it doesn't make sense. How are you gonna hit somebody moving that fast? How? Literally how? Already talked about Superman's entrance being awesome. Also, why does Steppenwolf got 7 fingers? In the last film, it was him with his fist, but this time it was like his whole hand, and he has like an extra like few fingers. It's like, ew, nasty. But yeah, there were like subtle changes. Like I keep saying, there were subtle changes throughout the film that not a lot of people would notice, but it's fairly interesting. It was fairly interesting, and I liked it. I liked it. Uh, and I wrote something down. It's like the bad blood between Amazons and Atlanteans. They don't matter to Wonder Woman or Aquaman. So I feel that that's good because like the constant, bickering between the two races, or like it doesn't even matter between them two. They're like, okay, cool. I don't even like my race as well. So whatever. I thought that was. And Superman was dogging Steppenwolf the entire time. Like it was not fair. Like I said, as soon as Superman got into the equation, it was over for Steppenwolf before he even knew it. Steppenwolf tried so much, and didn't like Superman like headbutt the crap out of him into like the floor, and just like punches his jaw, and he just flies. It wasn't fair. It really wasn't. Steppenwolf doesn't know what he got himself into, dude. He really didn't. I found that scene to be funny because the Superman was just playing with them at that point. He was toying with the guy. And Steppenwolf was trying his hardest. And he didn't even have his axe. His axe was what like made him him. Superman just blows a few gusts of wind on it and it just breaks. And it's like, overpowered much? Oh, I wouldn't say it's overpowered. That's just how he works. I found it to be super funny. And whenever Barry Allen, whenever he tries to reach the speed of light or farther, how is it took him that long without an injured egg to reach somewhat close to the speed of light? But whenever he's injured and the mother box exploded, almost instantly he reaches the speed of light with literally no buildup. That's what I found weird, because it's like you're injured, first off. The one thing that you need to run, your leg, is the one that's injured. So how? How are you able to run that fast? But, I mean, other than that, looking past that, the cinematics, the voiceover dialogue, the emotional music, everything about it was amazing. I loved seeing him, like, have a purpose in the movie. Although it's not like he didn't have one before, but the purpose he played in that last part was amazing. Like, he was just running, and then everything just came back together. All as one. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The part that I loved the most was when he touched it and he just flies forward. He just stops and says, "Wow!" He's just gone. And he just keeps hitting things as he keeps rolling. I love that part. But no, I love that. And like, I don't know where he was, so to speak. I feel it was just like right the instance right after the mother box exploded. That's where he was, and then he just like turned on just out of nowhere light speed and just did his thing. But the deaths for both Superman, Cyborg, and everyone else, like the blood and the bones and everything just being ripped off and everything, is like, whoa, ow, that looks painful. But yeah, no, that'd be a very painful way to die, actually. But no, I love that scene so much. Like, actually, a lot more than anything. And they didn't do that in the last movie either. There's a lot of, like I keep saying, they didn't. There's a lot of things that they skimmed over in the last movie that if they would have introduced that, like what's in this movie and the Zack Snyder movie in the last movie, things would have been perfect. They would have been absolutely amazing. And you can't tell me otherwise. Mm. And right before they get the mother boxes away, the part where Cyborg has to like overcome his fears and his overall problems, his feeling of being alone and everything, I found that to be very touching as well. Again, character development for Cyborg, because his entire life he didn't feel like he had any friends because of his disability. He was literally a metal man, so to speak. No one was like him, literally nobody, and he had so much power. And like his father was never there for him, or that's at least what he thought. But then he realizes, as he's looking at the fake imposters that are his family members, like him, his mother, and his father, those are actually the three mother boxes. He's like, I'm not alone. I have everybody. I have somebody or people who care for me. And then he gets over his scaredness and his aloneness, and then that's when he goes back into reality and pushes the mother boxes away with Superman's help. And then, all's well ends well for that. And then you've got Steppenwolf getting dogged on some more by the rest of the Justice League. A portal opens, and he just gets punched and kicked and thrown up in the air, and then Wonder Woman cuts his head off, and it goes, his entire body goes through the portal, and Darkseid crushes his head underneath his heel. And I love this stare down. I love the stare down that Darkseid and the Justice League had, because we don't know where Justice League is. I mean, no, we don't know where Darkseid is right now. He could be on one of the tens of thousands of planets he's conquered before in the past. But I feel like his planet, the planet he's on now with his throne, among many different thrones probably, plays a huge part in a lot of things. And I don't know, the stare down was just like, awesome. So now we know what we can look forward to in future movies. That was probably the coolest stare down I think I've seen in any movie, actually. Any Marvel movie or DC movie. And, never mind, not or, and. Can't read. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the Wonder Woman music, again, ruined the Steppenwolf scene. Everything else, cinematics, everything, the characters, perfect. But as soon as the Wonder Woman music kicked up, it instantly ruined the entire thing. Instantly. It was so good. And then the Wonder Woman scene played, and it was ruined. I didn't like that part. That was the only thing that made it not good in a sense. I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was good. It's just that the music no. Just because Wonder Woman's on scene does not mean that music has to play every time she's there. Okay? Okay. Just need to get that out of the way. Okay. I already mentioned something about Darkseid, like, in his castle, the cinematic moving back to, like, all the parademons, and, like, him walking down this long freaking aisle of his castle to a world that's been obliterated by him and his armies. I like that. It was good. And then the end of the movie, which you would think, because there is, with Marvel, how they have, like, these after scenes, right? And, like, leads up to the next movie. They didn't do that. They did it opposite. They actually put it in the movie itself. So Lex Luthor escapes Arkham Asylum, gets on a boat. How? I have no idea. That's yet to be found. And he, I believe, meets Deadshot. I believe Deadshot is the person he meets up with. And they talk about forming a new villain-based alliance to, well, actually, they didn't talk about that this time. They did it in the last movie. Here, they just said, oh, yeah, Batman's Bruce Wayne. And Deadshot's like, oh, cool, awesome. So if anything, that'll just lead into another Batman movie or Batman show, starring Robert Pattinson, because what was his name? What's his name? I forgot. I forgot Batman's. Oh, Ben Affleck, because Ben Affleck decided like, nah, I don't want to do this. Nor does oh man, what was his name? Person who played um Superman. Oh, I forgot his name. But him, yeah, Henry Cavill. That's it, Henry Cavill. Yeah, Henry Cavill said the same thing. He's like, yeah, I don't want to be Superman. So I don't know who they're gonna, if they plan on doing solo movies, who they're gonna cast as Superman. We already know who's gonna be Batman for the next movie and or TV show. So that's that. The visions of the future. Now, here's the thing about that. I've mentioned it just a little bit in like previously, but the visions are probably what's going to happen in the future for the Justice League or the DC universe with Darkseid. And now, granted, there are some things that could happen that change the course of that history. Possibly, maybe it won't. Who knows? But the fact that they went more in depth with Batman, Joker, Deadshot, which I found was very weird because Deadshot's working with Batman, even though Deadshot wants Batman dead. And Cyborg and Amber Heard, yeah, the person who's like, I think Aquaman's wife or something. I don't know. But earlier in the movie, I forgot to mention this. They actually showed, no, that was Darkseid killing Aquaman, but Amber Heard referred to Superman doing it, maybe. And in the last scene, he's like, I will drive this through his heart just like he did to Aquaman. But earlier in the movie, there's a scene where Darkseid actually impales Aquaman through the heart, but that's like in a future vision. So I don't know who she could be referring to. Either it's Superman or it's Darkseid. I want to say Superman though. It makes sense. And then they have this long conversation discussing like Harley Quinn trying to like figure out what to do, where to go, how to get out of this, and then Superman finds them, and I believe it just ends. No. Superman finds them. His eyes turn red, and then it goes back to Bruce Wayne waking up from his nightmare. The nightmare and the visions probably play correlation, so to speak. I feel like they do. They have to. It only makes the logical sense. Although nothing about this movie makes any logical sense, so I don't know why I'm thinking about it in a logical standpoint. But after that, then the Martian dude is like, he literally goes to his doorstep, and Bruce Wayne's like, what can I do for you? And he's like, I want to help you guys out. And he's like, all right, cool. Awesome. the Martian dude just leaves, and it's like, oh, awesome, cool. And then you get a pullback shot of, Gotham City. Got Wayne Manor over on the right side, the broken down version. You've got Bruce Wayne's house. You got the colored trees, the sky, and everything. Great, awesome cinematic shot. And then it goes black screen, and then the credits. So that's that. That is what I liked and had questions on. I don't say I really disliked very much of anything in this movie. I actually liked more things than I did not like things. So that's that. That is Zack Snyder's Justice League. If I had to give this a rating, I'd say it was a 9.5 out of 10. Honestly, a lot of things were really, really good about this movie that the last movie could not capitalize on. Acting, cinematography, cinematics, what else? The captivating scenes, the cinematic shots, just pretty much everything. The orchestra, music, that's kind of the same thing. But again, the reason I give it a 9.5 is mainly because of the Wonder Woman song and some of the things that just didn't make sense logistically, even though, like I said, some things won't make sense logistically. That's just how things work in these kinds of movies. Not everything is supposed to like make sense. But other than that, everything was good. I actually liked it. I'm really curious to see where they go from here in terms of, Aquaman. I know that they made an Aquaman movie, but Aquaman, Cyborg, if he's gonna have his own solo movie, Wonder Woman 84 was, um, Superman, Batman. I feel like those two, they definitely need a standalone movie or a TV show. Even though there's Superman and Lois, that doesn't really follow the Justice League thing. It's just like its own standalone thing, so I don't think it's like canon, so to speak. So there's that. Although it's fairly new, so we don't know for sure as of yet. But yeah, no, I'm really curious to see where things go from here with the Justice League. They've got so much potential now because of this movie. I cannot stress that enough. There is so much potential that can come out of this because of Zack Snyder's cut. I can't stress that enough, and so many people will agree with me. It now has room to breathe. The universe now can continue. It can. They don't have to keep rebooting it every other year because of the reaction fans have to said movie. It's perfect. And I think Zack Snyder did a great thing for DC fans. He did. So, like I said, that is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I hope I expressed to you my feelings on the movie itself, what I liked about the film based on cinematics. From here on out, I'm probably going to have co-hosts because talking to myself is a problem in itself. And sometimes it can get annoying. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have co-hosts from here on out. People who actually know about this stuff. So whenever I ask my questions, they can answer it for me, and it's more engaging that way. So, lessons learned. Now, as for the next podcast I plan on doing, I'm not sure which movie or TV show I want to talk about next. I guess we'll find out. It might be Mortal Kombat. Don't quote me. We might do a different movie. It may be an old one, maybe a new one. Who knows? I don't know. We'll find out. So yeah. Thank you all for listening in and or watching. And I will see you all in the next podcast. Peace.